Frenkie de Jong, crime buster of the sea. Well, he might move to Manchester United. That's the rumour around campus. Here he is, Frenkie de Jong. What is the Frenkie de Jong? He's a midfielder from the Netherlands. He's very, very good. He can play as a 6, as he used to at Ajax. He can play as an 8, along in a double pivot like this, like a 4-2-3-1. He can also play, and he has been for Barcelona for most of the last few seasons, playing as either the right-sided or left-sided midfielder in a 4-3-3. That's obviously too many players, but that's what he does. He can play both these positions. He's really good with all aspects of being a midfielder. He's amazing at helping build up play from the back. He's very good in the middle third of the pitch and circulating the ball and progressing play. And then he can create chances with clever through balls in the final third. I'll show you all the sort of stuff that he does in just a minute. And we'll show you how he fits into the Man United team as well if he does actually go there. That's what we're going to do. So first of all, let's have a look at what kind of a player Frenkie de Jong is using data, because data doesn't lie, much like Shakira's hips. Only her hips and data. They're the only things that can't lie. This pizza chart thing is from Smarter Scout. They're very good. This shows us what kind of player he is. Particularly these green bits here. This is very good because it's high. It shows us that he likes to carry the ball an awful lot, likes to link up with players and combinations around him an awful lot, and he can retain the ball. So this is something that tells us he's doing very good at keeping the ball. And Ten Hag wants Man United to keep the ball. A high line, lots of possession, moving the ball forward. De Jong's good at that. Lots of progression as well. Receives the ball often in the opposition box. Doesn't do an awful lot of defensive stuff, but that's fine. It's not really his kind of role. And if we look at this, we see where he's playing. This is for him, Barcelona into 2020-21, centre midfielder, or as the 6. He can even drop into a centre-back role. So you can come back, and Ajax do this an awful lot, where you come back and be part of whether they have a 2 in build-up, he would go back to be a 3rd centre-back. I'll show you it in the board in a minute. And this is another thing to showing his share of minutes per position for Barcelona in 21-22. Again, mostly here on the left or the right of the midfield. He can play as more of an attacker as well, like a false 9, he's done that as well. Yeah, this is what I mean by that bit with the centre-back. So if Man United were to build from the back like this, so full-backs go nice and wide, you know, and then De Jong would drop in to help as either the 6 here, would often come back into his left position, so you form a different kind of diamond like this. So you get between there. He does a lot for Ajax, pick up the ball in this sort of position. As you see players like Granit Xhaka do this for Arsenal a lot, and then he can carry it up the pitch. Now, one of the things that makes De Jong really, really special, he's a very clever player, right? But you see it in the way that when he receives the ball, he doesn't instantly play a first-time pass like you might associate with these sorts of clever midfielders. He likes to carry it a bit, draw an opposition out. So say they're being pressed, as United often are. Now we'll put the team higher up the pitch to try and put them in a pressing position with De Jong and McTominay here, Fernandes higher up, Ronaldo up here. Yeah, so what I mean by this, right? Say they're trying to press, this is the team trying to press them here. Now, Man United managed to play through the lines, get to De Jong. Now, he has a really good range of passes. He hits these beautiful long passes diagonally and lots of through balls. But he'll keep the ball for a little bit longer, carry it up the pitch, take the team up the pitch. Someone will come towards him, and as soon as they do, that's when he plays the pass. It sounds very obvious, but not everyone does this and is confident enough in possession to be able to do it. Drives towards players, draws them out of position, and that means there's space for Fernandes. Say this guy's blocking Fernandes, De Jong's here, he might be waiting because he knows the ball's going to come in here. Maybe he's got this pass here blocked. De Jong will just run towards him or run away to drag the player with him, and then he'll play the pass. It's very clever. And speaking of being clever, this is the kind of thing we see it on the pitch an awful lot. So here's some examples of him actually playing with footage filmed on a potato. Again, here is Frenkie de Jong here playing for Barcelona. This is against Mill. Now, the right-sided winger is here. They're playing against the back 4. You can see the back 4 is here. This guy stepped out from his line to get close to the striker. Another thing that Barcelona like to do. The ball is over here. It comes out to Frenkie de Jong. Now, you can see he's already noticed the right winger is there. This player here has identified, you can't see it because it's on low resolution, but he's looking at De Jong, so you can see that he knows that boy's there. So already this guy is thinking that when he receives the ball, he's going to want to play out to this guy out wide. That's what he's going to think. So De Jong's looking, the ball's coming his way, he knows that. The ball comes to him. Now, De Jong shapes up. You see this guy's body shape? He's side on. He knows he's on his left shoulder. It's most likely that he's going to go out wide, this wide area here. De Jong, his body shape, he's opening up to pass that way. That's where the body shape is showing where the ball's going to go. And so this guy naturally turns a little bit because he's going to have to turn and run off his left shoulder and run back this way. And then what De Jong does is uses that to his advantage and threads a pass between 2 players. This guy's completely done, just out of the game. the ball's threaded through, and this player runs into the wing to, I think they actually get a shot or a goal out of this. This is what he does constantly. It's deception. He deceives players with the way he shapes his body, and is very intelligent and sees passes. Like, he's one of these players that sees all the angles before anyone else has. Another example, this is a goal he scores. Now, it's against Napoli, I think it's the Europa League, I think it is. The goalie is showing the side of the goal here. He's shaped to go this way because the way De Jong is looking when he runs towards the ball, or run towards the goal in the situation, it looks very much like he's opening up his foot to curl it in this top left corner. It's a natural kind of shape to hook that in that way. But De Jong disguises it and bends it into the top right. You can find this goal online if you want to have a look at it. It's amazing. Goalkeeper is completely stuck, perfectly placed, sort of lifts it into the corner. It's deception. He also is extremely clever. This is when it comes to retaining the ball. So this is from, I think it's a Champions League game against Spurs. One of those absolute classics, you might remember it, when Spurs reached the final. Now, this is De Jong here. So he runs out wide to receive this ball. Spurs close him down with two players from different angles. They're closing him down. There's no real options. He knows roughly where people are. A little drag back and a flick, and the ball goes through to this player here. Ajax keep possession. Spurs have players pulled out of position, and suddenly Ajax can attack by doing that. He's basically a really, really clever player. He's a little genius. And I'll show you how he works at Man United now and why he'll make them so much better if he signs. Here he is again, back in the Man United team. Because the things that Man United are currently bad at, apart from winning games of football, is build-up. The possession phase, like dominating the middle of the pitch. They don't dominate that, they don't control games, they don't create chances in the final third either, and then they don't win the ball back particularly well either. So these are all things that Ten Hag's teams tend to do. And if Ten Hag picks his best players and wants to get the most out of Bruno Fernandes, then the most likely formation we'll see them play is this 4-2-3-1 with a double pivot of someone like McTominay or Fred alongside De Jong, unless they sign someone else to go there. Because Fernandes, for me, just isn't very good as part of this right side of midfield. He does it for Portugal quite a lot. And all he does is he hits these long passes that don't really go anywhere. He actually tends to play, when he plays as a 10, more in this left half space. He pulls out here, and we can see it in some data that shows us how Man United actually play. Like, this shows us United tend to create their chances on the left side, and it's because their better players are there. Like Luke Shaw is obviously there. Harry Maguire is really important here because he tends to carry the ball out from the back and distribute to the left because he plays on the left-hand side. That's why that's heavily weighted. But they have a weak right. So the weak right, the right-sided forward is one of the weaker players they have, and the right back position is something they need to strengthen as well. So that might change with a new manager, so this will definitely change anyway. But the dependency on the left will probably change as that goes forward. Now, we can see the problem in Man United's midfield at the moment when it's Fred and McTominay is that they're basically crabs. These even look like crabs because all they do is go sideways. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. This is Fred passing at Norwich last season. Or 2 seasons ago, I should say. It's all sideways. He's a crab. He scuttles around, passes sideways, very little progression into these areas, the final third. So he can get and drop deep to help with ball progression from the very back. In the middle, it tends to go sideways. There's very little control here, and then nothing really happens in the final third. That's against a bad team. This is against a good team. It kind of struggles. Same sort of sideways passes, mostly long balls out to the left to try and get one of the wingers on the ball there. And McTominay is pretty much the same. Now, he prefers to carry the ball. So rather than passing it, McTominay likes to carry it and team up the pitch. He's weaker at passing. He also tends to hide in build-up phases. It's harsh saying hide. His positioning isn't great, I think. We've covered this before in Tifo IRL, so you'll often be standing just a couple of yards behind the player when you should be in front of them, or the other way around, to be able to receive an angle to receive a pass. But that's him against Norwich. Lots of these kind of passes that go sideways, nothing really here. And this is him against Man City. Now, McTominay can also play these long switch passes. That's useful for a possession-based team, because when you're playing as a possession-based team, often the team you're playing against will be in a block. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So say United have been in the past wanting to go from back to front very quickly. Well, Ten Hag's most likely not going to do that. I think he'll try and be very possession-based. If they're playing against a team who drops back into a block, like a 4-4-2 block, say, like this is what the block would look like. You know, everyone's in this big, no, it looks like a block. That's what it is. They're just trying to block the middle of the pitch. I'll make it exactly like a block. Look at that, that's nice. So what you want to do with long switch passes, like these kind of diagonal balls out from De Jong to the wide player, is it shifts the block to one side, so they move, they scuttle over this way. This is the direction they'll go. And they'll shuttle that way, and that's the free player's well, they'll close him down here. And then that leaves a free player on the other side, and then they can push it back to Fred, who might switch it the other way. And they move down this side. And that's tiring. And that's where you start to get gaps between players. So as they're shuttling back and forward, maybe the spacing won't be perfect, and that's when someone like Fernandes can suddenly thread a little through ball into someone, because suddenly the gap has opened up for someone like Ronaldo or Sancho to make a run in behind. So that's useful for De Jong from deep, because he is basically a deep-lying playmaker. But he's also got this amazing ability to spot an opportunity to carry it, and he'll run through players, take people out with him, create space for others, and he can thread a little clever pass. Again, he'll always try and draw someone out of the way and play a reverse pass. It's very clever. He opens his body up so you think it's going one way, but then he feints and passes it the other, like a reverse pass. Now, a player that might benefit, especially from him being there, is Donny van de Beek. There's a big difference between how he plays and how Fernandes plays. Fernandes is very much someone who excels in transition. He likes to get the ball forward from here to here as quickly as possible. Doesn't mess around. I can show you his passing maps that show exactly how he plays. This is Bruno Fernandes playing against Norwich. This is his pass map. Lots of unsuccessful passes. That's fine, because he's trying to make things happen. He's their chief creator. Nobody in the Man United team gets the ball into the box more often. Nobody creates more chances in open play than Bruno Fernandes, because he tries stuff. That's what he does, and you often get a chance off of the back of this. And against Man City, same thing. The other thing is with this, although it's useful for creating chances, it means you lose the ball an awful lot, so you need to be able to win it back. And De Jong's not the guy to win the ball back for you. He's going to help you keep control at the back and progress play and be in possession. So they're missing that player to be the kind of ball winner. It might be McTominay. Fred, actually, statistically, is the better player when it comes to putting pressure on opponents and winning the ball back. That's his sort of role, which is why I think it's more likely that he would play if De Jong. It's more likely that Fred would play if De Jong signs, because he's more likely to be able to win the ball and buzz about here. But we're stuck on Van de Beek. Now Fernandes, think of his like long passes and wanting to be very attacking constantly. Van de Beek can't get in the team at United. And I think it's possibly because of physicality is one aspect of it, is why a few managers haven't picked him. But he likes to control the game and build slower. So if they're in a situation like this, where if the ball's here, where's my ball? Give it back, Dallo. Right? So in this position here, Fernandes will try and hook long passes and just try and put the ball in the box to Sancho to run into. That's what he'll do. He won't mess about. It's very rare he plays a short pass. He gives the ball away an awful lot as well. It's kind of dangerous, but useful because it creates. Van de Beek will play this short pass here. Here you go back. Because he wants to try and make the team be positional and have their right shape. So if he plays it short, that means Shaw's got time to move here, so that can go there. Then Van de Beek goes here looking for it. Like he'll get the ball and he'll pass it short, expecting to get it back very shortly after in a 1-2 or another little combination. But the rest of the Man United team get the ball and push it forward. And if they're being instructed to always go forwards and that goes against Van de Beek's natural inclination, then the manager's going to stop picking him because it's going to be too jarring to what you want to do. And there's another reason why I think he tends to have played in the European games for United when he's been there, because it's a different style of play, a bit slower, more possessional, and that's what kind of suits him. But he played with De Jong at Ajax. He was the 10, De Jong was an 8 or a 6 alongside another player. I'll take Fernandes out. So it could be that Fernandes plays a different role, maybe they play a 3 so they can get Van de Beek in at some points, but he mostly will replace him when Fernandes is not available. Van de Beek, very good in combination. Him and De Jong, loads of goals they scored together or created by getting these shapes, making sure they're close together, very quick passing football, lots of rotations, and that might be where they get the best out of Van de Beek if they sign Frenkie de Jong. So maybe he'll sign by now if it's a real thing. By the time you watch it, I don't know. I'm just going on rumour, and I thought it'd be nice to look at what kind of player this guy is. Love watching him play. If he does go to Man United, it'll be good for everyone because he's lovely. And that's my video about Frenkie de Jong, the crime buster of the sea, and the crabs of Fred, and McTominay of the sea. Goodbye.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and Rafa Honigstein. There are journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.